All right, thank you everyone for being here. We'll call the meeting for the Adams County Board to order Tuesday, September 9th, 2025, 7 o'clock here in the Adams County Boardroom. First up, we have our invocation with Deacon Dennis Holbrook from St. Francis Church. Deacon, if you would just come up here, the microphone is on.
Okay. Good evening. Let us pray. Good and gracious God, we thank you for the gift of this day. We ask you to be with us and bless us as we journey with your Son, Jesus Christ. We ask you for your wisdom and guidance as we begin this meeting tonight. Help this board to engage in discussions that grow and nurture the bonds of community. Fill them with your gift of grace as they make decisions that affect us all. And continue to remind them that everything that will be achieved tonight is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, Lord God, in the service of humanity. We ask this in your Son's most holy and precious name. Amen. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Roll call, if you would, Mr. County Clerk.
Mark Sorensen.
Here.
Bart Fletcher. Here. Ryan Heatcamper. Dave Bellis.
Here.
Marvin Kirkhoff.
Here.
Mark Dietrich. Jeremy Farlow.
Here.
Steve McQueen.
Here.
Travis Cooley.
Here.
Robert Rich.
Here.
Tim Finley.
Here.
John McCoy. Here. Brad Poulter.
Here.
David McCleary.
Here.
John Gunther.
Here.
Brent Fisher.
Here.
Joe Zinger.
Here.
Russ Heatcamper. Timothy Seymour.
Here.
Keith Calloway.
Here.
Brett Austin.
Here.
18 present, 3 absent.
We have 18 present and 3 absent. I declare quorum present, and I'll note that Mr. Russ Heatcamper, Mr. Ryan Heatcamper, and Mr. Mark Dietrich did all notify me that they would be absent and had conflicts, and their absences are excused. Thank you. Next, we have public comment, request to speak. First up, we have Mr. Steve Holman. Make sure the light is on. And
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. My name is Steve Holman. I'm here to speak about the ongoing project at 48th and State and the poor choices being made at this intersection. Let's start with the sidewalk. The building of a sidewalk that literally goes nowhere. It connects to nothing. No sidewalks to the north, no sidewalks to the south, east, or west. That's not planning. That's just wasting taxpayer money. Now, the traffic flow. For years, that has been what functioned as a right-hand turn lane. It may not have been officially marked, but it worked. It helped traffic move through the intersection. Instead of improving that, the county bumped out the curb, took away the lane, and now it's creating a bottleneck. And let's be honest, the intersection isn't that busy. It only backs up twice a day during the morning and evening rush hour. Even then, the longest anyone waits is 2.5 minutes at the most. But now, without the turn lane, you're making things worse for no reason. Semi-trucks especially will struggle to turn right without hitting a curb or telephone pole. That isn't safety. That's a disaster waiting to happen. And here's the part that makes no sense. When have we ever seen an intersection that's shrunk? Almost never. Intersections are expanded to handle more traffic, not squeezed down. Shrinking an intersection is total stupidity. This whole project comes after the failed roundabout plan, a plan that already cost taxpayers thousands of dollars in studies and engineering fees. That money is gone and wasted. And instead of learning from that mistake, the county is doubling down on another bad idea. Why wasn't this obvious solution? Widen the road and add proper right-hand turn lanes. The county already owns the land. This space is there. The common sense fix was right in front of you, and it was ignored. Unfortunately, this isn't the first bad decision we've seen. Just look at the North 36th Street. 4 lanes cut down to 2 lanes because you thought there was a school coming. Now that school never came, and now we're stuck with another bad choice. So I ask, who approved this? What was it, you, the county board, or was it the Adams County Highway Department engineer? Because the public never saw the plans, and to my knowledge, neither did the county board members. Where was the transparency? Where was the accountability? This project needs to be stopped immediately, and or at the very least redesigned. What should have been done is obvious, and the proper right-hand turn lanes on 3 corners of the intersection. Don't take away the one that actually worked. That's just common sense. You work for the taxpayers. It's our money you're spending, and the roads you're building. Start asking for public input, and before you dig up the streets. Stop wasting our tax dollars and start building infrastructure that actually makes our community better. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Homan. Next, we have Mr. Mike Adkins.
Hello, everyone. I'm not as sophisticated as Steve. I got paper. My name is Mike Adkins. I'm the 3rd Ward Alderman here in Quincy, Illinois, but I'm here as a taxpayer. I have questions on how did the 48th Street get approved? Did it go before the board, or did it just go before a committee? Because I've had several board members tell me that it did not go before the board. So if it didn't go before the board, how did it get approved, and who approved it? It appears as though it didn't go before the board, which is really disappointing. And remember, everybody here works for the people just like I do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adkins. We are going to have a report from Mr. Mark Peter for the Bicentennial Commission. If you're ready, sir.
I'm always ready.
All right.
So good to be in front of you all. I've got a thing here, Brett. I don't know that Congresswoman Miller gave me, and I'd like to give it to you. I just bring it up there to you. You don't have to come down here. Okay.
I'll come over here by you so you can use the microphone.
Okay.
That way everyone else hears.
All right. So Congresswoman Miller presented us this the other day at the finale when she dedicated our pavilion, our Heritage Farms Pavilion. It just says, in special congressional recognition of your bicentennial, presented to Adams County, July 13th, 2025, Mary Miller. So I'll just give that to you and thank.
I'll accept it on behalf of the board.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, I wanted to say that Congressman Miller gave a great little speech at the Heritage Farm deal and talked quite a bit about something we've been stewing on lately about solar farms and the use of agricultural land. So she gave a great speech on that, and thank you guys for all you do too.
Yeah. So you want to run that? You got that little video? Okay. Oh, just a minute. I got to take this. So this is some highlights from the day out there.
A bicentennial is more than a milestone. It is a moment to reflect on the story of who we are. Please join me in welcoming our farming families from the 1830s to the stage. We now welcome to the stage our farming families from the 1840s, from the 1850s, from 1860 to 1865, from 1865 to 1869, our farming families from the 1870s. As we celebrate 200 years of Adams County, we honor the Heritage Farm families who have been building communities here since 1832.
So anyway, I just wanted to thank you all on behalf of the commission and the finale committee that I was a part of. We had tremendous support. You guys have supported this effort from the very beginning, and we appreciate that. John here, his crew, and the highway department guys, and the ambulance people and volunteers. We think we had just between 350 and 400 volunteers throughout the time. Several of you guys sitting back here were there and were helping, and it was just a great day, and it was good for Adams County. So thank you very much.
I'll give a little shout out for Dave Hochgraber, who was in the back there, and he did a great job too. And I promise the sound was a lot better than what was on that video, because the concert was great too. Thank you guys for that, and thanks for all the efforts of that group. There's still a few more little village things going on here in September and into October, so keep a lookout for those in your area. And if you want to promote anything through the website because it's in your area or Facebook, please be sure to do that, because I know there's a couple more village picnics. So great job, and thank you, Mark, for all your efforts. Okay, so we have minutes, and we have 2 sets of minutes, I believe, right, Ryan? Okay, so I need a motion to approve July and August minutes.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dr. Rich, second by Ms. Fletcher. Any other discussion, corrections, deletions, additions? All those in favor? Opposed? So ordered. Looks like first step, Mr. Bellis, Transportation, Building, and Technology Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Your committee met tonight at 6 o'clock in the law library, viewed all the bills, seemed to be in order. We had reports from IT department, not a whole lot to report, but the AC in Menden facility had a leak in the line, and it got very hot in there, so they had called Peters Heating and Air Conditioning, and it came right out. Found a leak in behind the wall, and they refilled the Freon, whatever you call it nowadays, and got the temperature running again. Shout out Peters for getting on it so quick. We had a report from the highway department. They're having, they've got some equipment they're going to auction off at Blue Wave, Purple Wave. Anyway, they're going to auction off some equipment, date to be determined as of now. I do have a report from maintenance.
Where was the auction going to take place?
Online.
Online?
Yeah.
Okay.
They've sold some other equipment on that.
We've used this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can we make sure that is, how is that advertised, that auction?
The information is just placed on Purple Wave, and then anybody who accesses the website across the country.
Oh, they filter out to like national sites and things like that.
It is a nationwide site.
Okay. All right. And then maybe we'll look at, just kind of a reminder, maybe we'll look at how you want to publicly, advertise that auction locally too. So make sure that we have some local presence for that so that the word gets out, because there might be local interest as well.
Yes. Thank you. And then Terry Bauer had a report he couldn't make it. The HVAC job's going along real nice and on time. The west side is on schedule for the new unit to be operational the 1st of October at a comfortable 70 to 72 degrees. This room here gets shut down this Thursday for about 3 weeks to install the new unit. New electric will be turned on Tuesday the 23rd, late evening, and an email will be sent out prior to this to inform everybody that's working in the building. Roof is 75% complete, and the work will be shifting to the east side of the courthouse in a few weeks. And if we have any questions, get a hold of Terry or myself. They got a a reminder, we got a commercial solar, facility hearing on September 17th at 6 o'clock in a room down the hall. 'Cause this will
2A.
be 2A.
Courtroom
Courtroom
2A.
2A. So, because this one will be torn up. And then there will be another hearing on October 22nd. 6 o'clock also. And this room will possibly be done by then. So we'll probably have that one in here at 6 o'clock. But I will remind you at the October meeting.
Sounds good. Could we rely on the county clerk and Amy, others from the county board office? Could you please send all the county board members reminders when we get close to that hearing date again? I know those exactly aren't the most interesting hearings and barn burner situations you've ever been to, but the more participation we get, the more information we get, and the more questions we ask.
Agree or disagree, if we agree with them or disagree with, it's still our job to show up, entertain them. New business, Adams County Courthouse HVAC update. I just told you, Juvenile Detention Center Control Board needed replaced. It's between 24, 25 years old. It's original. We went out for 3 different companies to get bids. One's out of business, the original, and then another one wasn't interested. So we did get one bid, and we're possibly looking at trying to find somebody else that could give us a bid, but we're going to keep our eye on that because the number's already out. So not sure how that's going to work, but possibly get a second bid. But we did approve that. He's got it in his budget.
And did you have what was discussed about the funding mechanism of that? And
He's got it in his budget.
okay,
From
a capital
yes.
projects fund. Okay, thank you.
Other than that, our next, you guys got anything I'm forgetting? No. October 14th, 6 o'clock in the law library. That's our next meeting.
All right.
I got a question.
Yes.
This is concerning 48th and State.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Franken.
I was actually gonna, if you allow me, I was actually gonna bring him up now. I wanted to get through the committee meeting.
Okay, go ahead.
But I think this is our time for the highway discussion since it's around that committee meeting. So let's go with that. And I'll have Mr. Frankenhoff come up. You can come up here and speak. And I know there's some questions about some of the project stuff. And I think you all saw that a press release went out today and tried to explain some of the background of the planning. And keep in mind that this is a project that was originally discussed over 6 years ago now, almost 7 years ago, and originally approved about 4 or 5 years ago or 4 years ago. So anyway, just that's some background on that. And I've heard some questions about how that wasn't approved by the board. It just was a drop back to a project that was previous. So I'll let Mr. Frankenhoff explain some of that.
I prefer to answer the question.
Well, I knew we were under budget constraints with that intersection, and we had an argument with the city with 1.5 miles. So I understand that. But are there provisions down the road if funds come available that we could add a turn lane, or is that possible?
May I? You have to understand first that there is a 1973 agreement with between the city of Quincy and Adams County, that the jurisdiction of 48th Street from essentially Broadway to the top of the hill as well as portions of the east and west legs on State Street. That section of roadway was to be jurisdictionally transferred to the city of Quincy when 50% or more of that section entered into the city of Quincy. That occurred roughly 2001, 2002. So if the city of Quincy were to agree to that agreement and uphold it, that road section should be theirs. It was delayed. We worked through issues in 2010, 2012, looking at the entire 48th Street corridor improvement issue. That was shot down. The only thing that left out of that was the intersection improvement. And at that time, it was considered to be a roundabout. Obviously, it sat for a while. The city of Quincy acquired funds from the state of Illinois, Jill Tracy's office, to fund a portion of the engineering and design. The city and the county jointly shared and split the remaining cost of that design. At that time, it was presented to the city council. They put some constraints on us, say we need to buy the right of way first, we need to do the utility relocations first, and on and on. The right of way was purchased, utility agreement relocations were started, and it was represented to the city of Quincy. They backed out. They backed out of the agreement, they backed out of the intersection improvement. So we were left with some conditions from them, I guess you want to say. They wanted the culvert repaired, which was part of the roundabout plan. They wanted it extended. They wanted the shoulders widened. They wanted the curb gutter, storm sewer, and sidewalk installed. And they said, we do not want any changes to the intersection. We want to leave it as a four-way stop. As of right now, the culvert's been improved and extended. The embankments are widened for widening on the east side. The curb gutter, storm sewer, and sidewalk are being constructed on the west side. And the intersection is an improved and proper four-way stop given the roadway conditions. So in our part, we have spent the money that we were going to spend on the roundabout to satisfy their issues, the city council's issues with regards to the jurisdictional transfer. Any improvement going forward, in my opinion only, and you may certainly differ, the only thing that the county would now be obligated for is anything that lies outside the extent of that jurisdictional transfer, which would be 600 feet to the west is where it stops, 150 feet to the east, and obviously to the top of the hill where the improvement stops. The county should be out of that. And that's why we did what we did. And here we sit. So we are fulfilling the requirements of the city council to fulfill the jurisdictional transfer. It's up to them to do it because this board has approved, if I remember correctly, has approved that jurisdictional transfer agreement. The city council balked on it.
Thank you, Mr. Frankenoff. I just want to make sure the public knows that we were not totally, and the city backed out of their agreement, and it went back way back in the 70s. So, okay,
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It looks like to me, headed east on State Street, that the curbing jutted out from where the original road was and basically chokes that part of the intersection down. Is there a reason for that?
Yes. I'll go back again with regards to the city, and I don't want to blame them. Their subdivision ordinance required at that time, and they still require, that when a subdivision is developed against a major street, they are required to build the parking lane against that major street if none exists. In 1985, when State Street was transferred to the County of Adams from the state of Illinois, segments of the parking lane existed at 36th Street, and there were gaps all the way out to, say, roughly 43rd Street. In 1985, with the jurisdictional transfer money, the county filled in those gaps and resurfaced and improved the roadway. We stopped in and around 43rd Street. In 2005, I believe, when McClellan subdivided the south or the northwest corner of the intersection 48th and State, with the Airco station and whatnot, he placed the widening at that intersection as well. You can see the pavements broke up in squares. That's the underlying concrete pavement he placed. He did that prior to us. In 2005, my predecessor decided to go ahead and invest the money to complete the parking lane improvements for the remainder of State Street all the way to 48th. There was some internal argument as to what to do with the intersection. We did hold the curve back. But at that time, that was never intended to be a turn lane. Just because the wide pavement's there, I mean, the appearance is, but it's never been marked as a turn lane. It's intended always to be a parking lane.
The use of it as a turn lane, that's up to you. You are law enforcement. Is it legal or illegal? If two cars come side by side and the inside car decides to make a right-hand turn into the car that's passing on the right, who's at fault? I've seen that. I've got pictures of it. It had to be resolved. It causes nothing but confusion, contrary to what others are saying. The jump butt out does that. The jump out does that.
I guess I don't remember it being a parking area. I don't remember any cars ever parking.
I think I'll field that one a little bit because I was looking into some of the history of it. The parking lane exists from 36 to 48 on both sides of State Street. State Street is not a 4-lane, even though it seems wide there and you've got a lot of space. It's a parking lane all the way from 36 to 48. And absent the white stripe that should have been there probably for all these years, I mean, I can go back to high school days in the 80s and it wasn't there, right? So absent that, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And so I went out there today and I was kind of thinking about that. And the reality is without that spacing, you don't have the space to pull in and out of the driveways that are the subdivisions where 43rd eventually came through for Willow Creek. And now you got 45th and Leffler's and a gas station. And so it is, I agree with you on this point. When you get to that side, it's like, well, why would you do this? Because there's nothing here but a field next to you. But the point of the ordinance and the process and the history of that is it has to be there because that's what's legal. And if you want to change it, you got to make a legal change to it because it is not a passing lane. It is a parking lane all the way.
I'm assuming they probably did that because they anticipated building residents in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we did. I mean, we looked at it. I mean, we had to tie in what was done for Meadowbrook into what we did into the next subdivision, and it just became a patchwork. So in order to eliminate that, we just did it all. And to allude to the white line striping, I guess as a result of this review and concern, and the ADT and further review of the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices, we will now, I guess, stripe and put the lane line, the edge line, if you will, all the way from 36th Street to 48th Street. That will be an additional cost and future maintenance. But now that it's brought to our, attention, we're going to do this. This action was also done on Cook's Lane. If you remember that street when it was rebuilt, obviously it's a nice wide 4-lane concrete pavement. The city, because of the same thing, of people passing on the right, is it a parking lane? Is it not a parking lane? There is a white edge line running on the joint on Cook's Lane from 12th to 24th to do the same thing. So I guess based on the ADT and, the emphasis being made at this, we're going to, stripe it as a continuous parking lane with gaps for all the side roads. And then we will probably have to look at other roadways of the same ADT and I guess spend the money to do that.
Jim, I have a question. So regarding Cook's Lane,
I have a question. I mean, is there also going to be
Travis is speaking.
from 12th to 24th, if you're going east and west, that's only a 1-lane, both sides on, 2-lane, going both sides on Cook's Lane, west side of Cook's Lane of 24th, and then east side of Cook's Lane further out. So if that's 1 lane, we're basically talking the same thing, going 1 lane with a parking lane on either side there. What makes the difference between that, having a turn lane, designated turn lane, versus this jurisdictional guideline, and then the same thing regarding 36 and Columbus Road, that's got the same thing. So going east and west, 1 lane going one way, 1 lane going the other, so 2 lanes.
Two-way traffic.
Yep, but both going east and west, they also have turn lanes there. I'm just wondering what's the jurisdictional difference between that and 48th?
I'm honestly, I'm not following your question entirely. I mean, I can't picture it.
So what you're saying is there's a dedicated right turn at the east
36.
at 36 and Columbus Road on two sides of the intersection.
Yes,
and
that's
it's a
correct.
four-way stop.
That's
So you're
county.
asking what's different.
Yeah,
That's county highway, isn't it?
What's the
Isn't that a
difference?
county
That'll
owned?
be one of the roads we'll have to look at as to whether or not we need to put the edge line on up
Yeah.
to where the turn lane exists.
Don't forget, there actually is a dedicated right turn lane at this intersection. So that question comes up too. It's like, well, if you can do it over there, why can't you do it here? But in the other case of that, if you look at that, you've got a 4-lane road headed south into a 2-lane road. You have to dump out a lane, otherwise you're going to have a wreck. And quite honestly, that lane probably, it does have a diagonal
There is a
dot in it.
diagonal shoving traffic.
It just to remind you, hey, if you want to go straight, you got to
You
get
gotta
over
move,
now, right? So it is possible to have that lane, but there are restrictions in this area with other stuff too. If you want to speak about the utilities and some of
But
that stuff.
regarding the actual 36th and Columbus Road, there isn't, but there are designated turn lanes there, east and west.
Correct, but you also have to understand, and I mean, I'm not going to speak for them.
Yeah.
The east leg is essentially ours, but the remaining 3 legs are the city of Quincy. And when all that intersection work was done, the city of Quincy was the lead on it. And the most we've done that I can remember is we've done some resurfacing work down the middle, and that's been 20, 25 years ago. So, beyond that, that configuration, I'm not too involved with it.
So this just needs to go back to the city if we were going to do something different there.
Which intersection is that?
48th and State. To make a turn lane designated going east and west.
I guess the ultimate goal in the long run is the jurisdictional transfer needs to be completed and the county's out. And then the city is free to do whatever they want with the intersection.
Thank you.
Some of those roads that he was talking about were county roads anyway, right? So we didn't have that city ordinance of having the neighborhood, that parking lane, if you will, that turned into a turn lane.
Yeah, that additional lane requirement, I mean, that's caught us on Columbus Road. We've went in there and utilized, say for us, the school program funds and some other funds to close gaps between segments of roadway or segments of parking lane that the city of Quincy required to be constructed that were left as gaps. We've gone in there and closed those gaps because nobody else is going to do it. I mean, they're not part of the subdivision. They're an individual homeowner. He certainly can't afford to put in the lane. So we've closed all of these gaps.
That's
We
what I
did
was
the same
getting
thing
at.
on South 24th Street. We've revised and closed those gaps as well in certain places.
If we decided that we wanted to do this, what options are available to us, or what option is available to us?
To do what?
To make that a right turn lane, to remove the curbing, stretch the road out, like just imagination, like is that something the county can do at this point, or is it transferred already over to the city and we're stuck?
Well, I mean,
I wasn't
obviously,
here.
everything's in place. That's what the issue is now,
Right.
the adjustments in place. To revise that and to what extent, I don't know. I mean, I know it was brought up with regards to truck turning movements and the power pole that was there. The movement of a tractor trailer, in this case, and at that intersection, a trailer has to be, the truck and tractor has to be parallel and adjacent to the center line of the roadway to make the right-hand turn. The width of the intersection as it was, with the trailer completely in the left-hand lane or along the center, to make that right-hand turn, his trailer would track and miss that pole. The design that's in there right now was designed and accommodated, and the curb does follow and track along that same trailer. So the issue that a truck won't be able to make that turn, I find that questionable if the driver knows what he's doing. Obviously, anybody can do anything, but it was run with the assistance of Klingner's through their turning software. The intersection and curb was placed to accommodate a WB 55 vehicle, which is our design vehicle.
That wasn't, sorry, maybe I said that, but I didn't mean to. I was saying to eliminate the curb that's there so that we could have a right turn lane. Like if we said we had a magic wand, we could wave it, what would it take? Like, what does that option look like? Do we have that option?
we would have that option, but we would probably have to go to an intersection design study. I mean, we didn't have that because we obviously didn't change the stopping conditions. It's still a four-way stop with 2 lanes of traffic. You know, the 2 lanes of traffic on the west leg, east leg. If we're going to add that extra lane, then we have to go into an IDS. That involves traffic counts, submittal through IDOT, and then the appropriate changes. But again, I'm going to refer back again to the city council. They wanted the 4-way stop. And they wanted to improve the intersection as they saw fit at some point in the future.
So waving the magic wand, if we did that, like just ballpark, is that $1 million, $10 million?
No, I mean, the entire project right now is at 1.3 million for all we're doing. So I mean, it's still a cost, but it could be done, but the question becomes to you, is it a cost that the county needs to incur? Is it a cost that the city should incur based on the previous agreement?
I'd have an additional question. Why put in a right turn lane there when you don't know where the intersection's headed and it might be changed in a couple of years and you've spent X number of dollars to do something for a few years? I'm not really advocating one position or another. I'm just saying we always talk, we just heard comments about we have a sidewalk to nowhere, which I'll address that in a second. But and things like that, or why are we doing what we're doing? And it's because there's a longer view pattern than I think a lot of people give it credit for, just like why I gave the background of this. Also, I'd mention that going out there today and really thinking about that turn is there's a power pole right there that really screws up things. It's actually where the lines turn. So to answer your question, I don't have an engineer's estimate on it. We're both former engineers, so we can guess ballpark some of that. But I would guess that it's not 50,000. I would guess it's a couple 100,000, something like that. And this was at an intersection that didn't need to be changed, didn't have the traffic count to warrant an intersection change. Nobody wanted to deal with it. And why are we spending any extra money to do anything? So it sort of has this kind of back and forth that almost seems a little surreal sometimes, but there we are in terms of that. But to answer your most direct question, it's not a small sum because there's utilities right at that intersection on that corner.
And if I could add to that, I mean, the intersection, the pole directly at the corner with the roundabout, the intention was for Ameren to come in and bury all the lines from the first poles away from the intersection that intersected that pole. Those lines would have been buried and a large junction box would have been placed in the southwest corner outside of the limits of the roundabout, which is what we gave them and said, where do you want to plant this box? That's where they were going to go. Now that, we're not doing that and the pole is still there, we never got a cost estimate on any of that to what it would, incur, but based on their body language and the way they were talking, it wasn't going to be an insignificant fund since everything is underground with all the switching and everything else. And to haphazardly place that box without a true, fully redesigned intersection, that would, to me, it wouldn't be justified. I mean, to, force Aaron to come in and do something and then all of a sudden turn around and have to redo it, I wouldn't force that, upon them if we didn't have to.
So Jim, just a quick question for clarification. Have the city engineers been involved in this project? Are they aware of the design as you've been moving along with this?
Yes.
So they've been involved. Have you been working on the project? They've been out there and looking at the project?
Yes, I've submitted preliminary stuff to city engineering. When it came down to obviously the sidewalk, which I will point out too, that any sidewalk constructed within the city limits by the county or anything like that, or that the city forces upon us along a county highway, the city takes over maintenance of that sidewalk. So therein again lies that a portion of that sidewalk now will become necessary to be maintained by the city. As a result of that, the layout of the sidewalk and the pedestrian handicap ramps, if you will, ADA compliant ramps on both corners, the city of Quincy was consulted with that. How do you want these laid out? What do you think, where do you think they should be? How do you want the crosswalks to lay in? And they were kept informed all the way through to the end, and they were provided the final plans and everything for approval, and we never heard any adverse comments.
So just to clarify what you're saying, so the city engineers have been along on the project most of the steps of the way. They've approved it, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the intersection that they're going to get.
Yes, that,
All right, so they've approved the improvements, this project, for the intersection that they're going to get through jurisdictional transfer.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah,
I mean, we
so-
provided them all the information that I have.
I'm not saying this about the city engineers, but my way of saying it would be once you touch the stove and it's hot and you get burnt once, you learn to not touch that stove in the same way again. And I think our county engineer has done that by making sure that every step of the way we go through, we get feedback and we get that kind of sign off. Now, whether they have to, stamp and approve things, no, they don't, because it's our project. But to your point, good question, is yeah, there was information going along the whole way, because everything we do at this point should be with the knowledge that we're going to look forward, that it's a forward thinking part of the project, and also that it's something that can be turned over so that we didn't do something that would be, stop that up. Because at this point, why would we want to do anything that would make that discussion harder? I wanted to say something about the sidewalk since we were on that. It's not a sidewalk to nowhere. You're mobilized. You've got all the equipment there. It's in the budget. We don't have the money to do the rest of the sidewalk. That's absolutely clear. We don't. And maybe it looks a little funny to have a sidewalk that stops off at some point, but there's as much of it done as possible. The drainage around it is done. The dirt's moved where it needs to be. The dirt for the future sidewalks moved where it needs to be. And when we evaluated this holistically within it, the grant qualification scores for going after the IDOT grant that we're going for increase when you have two connectivity points that aren't connected yet. Our chances of getting the grant money raise because we have an A and a B point that don't connect, and that's exactly what they're looking for. So we actually raise our chances of the pending grant that Mr. Frankenhoff has applied for by anchoring ourselves and saying, this is where we need to go, and this is why we want to get these subdivisions and this intersection to hook up. So it's not a sidewalk to nowhere, and it's not like nobody thought about it. There's actual real reasons that these things happen, and if you want to, and I'm glad that people ask these questions, but I'm also adamant that the answer that they might get might not be the one they thought. And the answer in this case is it has purpose, and it will increase our chances of getting future grant money. What's the grant that we went for? How much was it? It's 3.
2 years ago, the state legislature obligated $400 million to local agencies for improvements related to transit, bike ped facilities, and complete streets, which is the bike ped traffic improvements. The application I submitted was for $3.6 million to take it essentially from State Street to Harrison with the complete street concept in mind, which is the bike lanes, at least a sidewalk line up the west side, and curb and gutter up the west side, and as much as we can spend to do the same on the east side. There was a meeting held today. A rough idea of their qualifications was presented to the County Engineers Association, and the grant award should be out by the end of the month. They're looking at coordinating that with the state's presentation of the multi-year plan, their multi-year plan. So we're anticipating an answer by the end of the month.
Jim, when you were corresponding with the city engineers, was there any feedback, either negative or positive, about not only where we're putting our sidewalks off, where you addressed, but what about the curbing that we were talking about, where it narrows that road down? Was there any comments back to you?
No, I mean, they understood what I was doing. They understood that it was supposed to be a 4-lane or a 4-way stop. And they were actually one of the ones that suggested we needed to do additional pavement markings to enhance it. They've also suggested we may need to paint the curb yellow to enhance it. But again, now, since this issue has been brought up, I've been in contact with them now, and they've provided the information that, yes, Cook's Lane is striped with the parking lane. They provided that. I mean, I could have seen it, but they offered that. And then the changes in striping, the suggestions that I had and what was proposed originally and what is going to be proposed, that was sent to them too. Just to, does this make sense? Does, hatching here make sense? And they agreed with it. So they are aware of what we're doing.
Mr. McQueen?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of point out another angle to this a little bit. I think your answers to the questions, it all makes sense to me. I have had a lot of calls about that particular right turn lane. The point that I'd like to make, because we'll be forced to fix this somehow or another along the way, we got a procedural issue, I feel, and that is that I've never seen these plans before tonight. I believe I wasn't even on the board when it was originally voted on. So I feel like we need to look at the lifespan of one of those votes, right? Because if my great grandfather voted on the 48th and State intersection in 1925, I have no idea Grandpa did that or great grandpa did that. So I feel like there's an opportunity here for us to, as we deal with some of these things, the 1973 agreement, that we kind of take a little time on the front end and as a board kind of dig into that. I've seen plans for roundabouts. I've been yelled at about roundabouts. I've done all of that. But this is kind of new to me a little bit, and maybe there's some way that we can put something into effect of how we operate that says, hey, before we go work forward or move forward on a project that was voted on 5, 6, 8, however many years ago, we kind of refresh ourselves as a board and vote on it. Because I'm 99.9% sure that I didn't vote on this, and I know I've never seen these plans.
Not to step on your toes, but the committee did.
Which committee?
It's not the county board, though.
Your committee did?
Yeah. Not in 1973, but.
No, I mean, I understand.
What Steve's talking about
Yeah.
is a third of the board has changed since that was indoctrinated.
So that's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying you made the wrong call or the wrong vote. I'm just saying if you have only been here for 4 years, for example, and this happened 5 years ago, you may not even be aware that happened. So there needs to be some method by which, over time, maybe we say it's, if it's longer than 2 years, because that's the shortest term we've got here, then we have to kind of relook and rehash it so that everybody's up to speed. Because had we done that, then, I'd be on the hook here.
Yeah.
I either made the right or the wrong call, right? But what I'm really,
or we would have chose to spend more money. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So just wanted to point that out, that maybe there's something we can do there so that as new people come on the board, as we change out like we do, that we rehash that stuff. And I doubt that it takes a long time. This one's particularly complicated due to that issue with the city, but it'd just be a good thing for us to do moving forward.
Yeah, I
talk about.
I echo that idea. I absolutely love that idea. I think the 2-year thing is, that's a really good point, Steve. I think that if you don't dust that off, then it can be, because I feel like I've been like on the insider track of this, right, for a while. And to me, it's like, oh yeah, well, we just did what we said we were going to do. In my head, I think that. And I've seen this plan, and I've been there, and I've been in that trench warfare on what the intersection was going to be. But absolutely, I think your point is 100%, because then you get new eyes on it too.
And I'm reacting to constituents right now, so they ask me the question, I don't know the answer.
Sure.
What I know, whether it was intended to be a right turn lane or not, I always thought that was a right turn lane. Whether it was or not, So I'm not in a position to give really good answers to people. So it might help if we did something that way.
I think that's a great thought, and I echo that. I think we'll talk about that and see how we have like from the executive committee and from an administrative standpoint. I mean, coincidentally, the guy with probably the most process working knowledge on our board says get your process working better, right? So I appreciate that because I think that's a good idea.
But Mr. Chairman, may I speak?
Yeah.
Can we just be clear and make a point that when you're talking about the procedures, Mr. McQueen, that I think what we need to talk about is the procedures and how information is shared, and we're informing people, say new people, new board members, of previous decisions, because you do not want a situation, and I don't know if this is what you're saying, but you do not want a situation where you're suggesting that every 2 years when you have new board members, all of a sudden you take new votes on past action. Because I just want to be clear on that.
No, that's absolutely, I understand
Okay.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if we have a project that was voted on, that the entire board at that time, and I use the 2 years just because that's the shortest term we have here for anybody. If it's been over 2 years since that vote was taken, we should just do a quick rehash, and then if a motion needs to be made that, hey, there's enough change here that we need to do something else, we can address it at a time, but in no way suggesting we vote on everything at all.
Yeah, that could get to be chaos because a lot of our projects are longer than 2 years.
Has there been a history? I know people have been using it as a turn lane for pick a number of times. How many people have hit the utility pole? How many accidents have there been? Is that an accidental corner? Or is there a high risk down there with the way I know they're illegally doing it and illegally using it and illegally turning right? But has it been a problem?
Not in that manner, but I mean, I can speak from personal experience, and I do have the photo. It was the evening of John Wood's graduation in May of this year. I came up to that intersection. There were 3 cars, if you will, lined up in the right-hand turn lane. There were 5 cars lined up in the eastbound lane. Whether they were turning left, right, or straight, I couldn't see. There was a vehicle in front of me, and I didn't say this out loud, but I took my cell phone out and started snapping pictures. I have a picture of the vehicle in front of me moving, or essentially it's moving. It's past the stop bar going westbound. He's attempting to make a left-hand turn. The northbound vehicle had just cleared in front of him. There was a vehicle, I guess, heading southbound, turning right onto State Street. And there were 2 vehicles moving on the west leg. One was turning left and one was turning right. So there were 5 cars moving in that intersection at the same time. Which one was the illegal one? The guy making the right-hand turn. So again, I mean, did it work? Yes, but I cleared the intersection as quickly as I could.
I don't want to get in the middle, and I don't want to create any enemies here at all. But we all know that this is just a shakedown between the county and the city, and this is the penalty to the city for throwing it back at us, isn't it?
No, this is a parking lane. It's a curb. Why?
That's a perception.
Well, that's there's also a perception that a roundabout is somehow a liberal left-leaning intersection, and a 4-way stop is a conservative, good old American intersection. There's none of that. This is traffic studies.
I think it's a difference. It looks like there's retribution because we didn't come to agreements on a roundabout, so we'll put a damper on the intersection that we didn't need to do.
Well,
And then
I really don't know what to do with that statement. There is no retribution to the city. They couldn't make it happen for a roundabout for obvious reasons. Maybe we wouldn't even have got
the public's perception.
the public or 200 Facebook comments.
Mr. McCoy, could you speak into your microphone? I'm sorry to interrupt.
I just think that's just a really base way to look at issues. This is an engineering problem with a math problem. You got people driving almost into a shoulder. You got cars presenting themselves at a traffic control. I'm not advocating one way or another. I'm just saying what's the legal ramifications of this intersection? And this is the actual approved IDOT intersection.
Facebook, but I get input from calls, and I'm sure I'm not the only ones that have gotten phone calls like that. So
I guess
reporting back.
I think, John, based on what we've heard here this evening, the city approved the project, right? So that just kind of takes that argument away, right? There's no retribution because the city approved what we did, right? So in my mind, that's not even a valid argument at this point in time. I guess, Mr. Chairman, probably not tonight in the interest of time, but could we get an update on the jurisdictional transfer?
Yes.
And what the status of that is, and what we need to do to move that forward to get this thing completed and taken care of. That's the root cause here.
It's definitely coming because we have a vote in October on the Seminary Road thing where we're giving money away to a road that we are going to get out of and not have. And so I think it's time to see what that whole list looks like and check a few boxes off. And I think this is going to be one of the ones that's going to move forward. I get the argument about the perception, but perception is not always reality. The reality is this is an approved four-way stop intersection with a curb bump out. I think Jim, you gave me 5 examples today because I asked the same question. Where else have we done this? 11th and Main, 12th and Main, all of 3rd and 4th Street, all of 3rd and 4th Street is a highway in Quincy with parking lanes, white stripes all the way. Go check it out. All of it. So this is not reinventing the wheel. This is not retribution to the city. This is not retribution to the people of Adams County or city of Quincy. It's a traffic signal, a traffic intersection, just like it was a traffic intersection when we were talking about roundabouts, just like it was a traffic intersection when it was a four-way stop or a turn or a signal light. We really need to get past the idea that somehow this intersection has a personality that is guiding us to a vote. So anyway, are there any more questions for Mr. Frankenhoff? Yes.
Just one, and you've basically, most of the questions have been answered. What would be the actual cost of going underground and moving the box for future?
That I don't know. I mean, we didn't investigate it. Once everything came to a stop, we didn't investigate it.
Okay, because that's another way I see of nipping it in the butts, figure out what that cost is, and then implementing that when we're actually doing the street.
Right. I mean, that pole is the anchor pole. The other poles that were relocated, and they exist currently right now in the parkway between the curb and the sidewalk, they were moved to that location to fulfill the original easement granted by the deeders to Ameren.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore the poles are placed as they should have been way back when, and that was one of the considerations when purchasing the property from the deeders, is that the poles go back to where they were intended to be per the original easement signed, I want to say back in the 50s or 60s.
Okay. Because it seems like with the parking you've got, in case later on you need to add additional lanes, it's there. So it just comes down to literally the pole and moving the power line over, and then I think you've obstructed that intersection.
Correct. Our intersection, what we've done is took into consideration any of the future work that would have been done with the roundabout, all the right-of-ways there, the width is there to construct another intersection.
All right, Mr. Frankenhoff, we've held you up here long enough. Thank you very much. We appreciate your expertise in this. And I also want to say, just in general, we commend that our highway department does a lot of heavy projects in this county. And we have done very well to keep up with our infrastructure, in my opinion, although there's always things that we can improve on. So good discussion. Let's all marinate on it for a little bit, and we'll see what comes out of this. We will have some, construction updates coming, and we'll also look at that jurisdictional transfer agreement. I think that's two of the things that came out of the discussion that are great, are looking at that jurisdictional transfer agreement and the idea that occasionally we dust off the playbook when we have something that's sat for a while, not something that's in motion and been going on for a couple of years, but something that's sat for a while. I think those are both great ideas, and I'll try to lead some on getting the information for the transfer agreement. And then maybe I'll get some help from some board members on looking at some of that. So I appreciate all that. How do we feel about moving on to the Legislative and Judicial Committee? Dr. Rich.
And we went over the commercial solar facility updates. There's been brought before us to raise the decommissioning thing to $1 million and $1.5 million cash rather than bond. Aaron with the state's attorney's office has investigated this. There's a comment sheet which we have, and it's going to be sent out to everybody, and a copy of the Hamilton County, which was the kind of the backbone of this thing. It appears that it's not legal to do that. We're just getting ourselves in more trouble. Secondly, at one point in time, we were asked to raise the permit fee. We're sending back money on the permit fees now. Why raise it? Doesn't matter if it's $1,000 or $20,000 or $1 million if you send back what's left. The third thing we talked about was there's a possibility we could hire outside people to do the hearings. Why hire an outside attorney from Springfield or somewhere else when the solar companies are paying for it, keep the money local? That was the feeling of the committee at this point. So we had nothing to vote on. We also talked about battery farms, and we're investigating that. We have nothing in our packet on battery farms, but Aaron's going to check into that, and we'll have more of that the next meeting. So everything's kind of on hold, but things we talked about are the legislatively, if some of the federal money and tax incentives dry up on some of this will slow it down, but it isn't going to help anything in the near future. Moving on, we had one appointment. I'll ask the clerk to read it.
An appointment of Kevin Likes to a 3-year term to the Board of Trustees for the Golden Fire Protection District, retroactively to commence on the first Monday of May 2025 and expire the first Monday of May 2028.
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Dr. Rich.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. McCoy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That appointment is approved.
We had no liquor licenses. The questions we had on liquor licensing all kind of seem to be working themselves out, so there's no problems at the moment. No pyrotechnic displays. Our next meeting will be October 14th in the boardroom at 6 o'clock. Thank you.
Could I just ask one question about the liquor licenses? Did we start to reset everything to July 1st like we talked about?
Yeah, all the retail liquor licenses are going from July 1st until June 30th.
Okay. And then the fees changed as
from 200 to 600.
Right. Annually. 200 6 months.
Annually.
Okay. So 400 to 600.
We're still working on the gaming ordinance. We got till a couple of months to do that, obviously.
Yeah, there's a little clock ticking on that one though, right? That we got to get something done by budget time, basically. Is that what we were shooting for? If we could.
I wasn't aware of that, but we can certainly do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought July 1st was our.
Yeah. Well, that's true because if you're timing them together, then yeah, I guess we just want to figure out what kind of placeholder budget line item we would have in there because we would have a portion of a year revenue coming in if that's what we end up doing, right? So some prorated amount is going to have to be estimated in November to be in the budget.
We can try to do that.
Okay. So, and even if we're just close, that's all because it'll be what it is.
Does somebody know how many gaming things
we have? Yeah, we have a list. Yeah, there's a list of how many are in the county.
Okay, we can move ahead on that then. So
okay.
October 14th, 6 o'clock, boardroom.
Thank you, Dr. Rich. Public Health and Safety, Mr. Fisher.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, our committee met this evening at the ROE conference room, reviewed bills. All bills appear to be in order. We received some verbal reports from Emergency Management Ambulance, Coroner, and our Veterans Assistance Commission. A few things to highlight. John Simon mentioned and was asked about the mobile integrated health program that I believe Dr. Rich brought forward with the opioid money, and that is on the cusp of beginning here either by the end of this month or next month. So we'll be looking forward to seeing that in motion. From the Veterans Assistance Commission, Paul advised us from the Bicentennial celebration this last week. He assisted 413 veterans to attend the event, so we want to thank him and his staff for their efforts.
We didn't have any other real action items. However, I wanted to bring forward and some of our discussions we've had in our committee is from the coroner about how we kind of keep our deceased and where they're stored, how they're stored. So the committee's intention is just to give information to the board that we're going to be looking into any improvements we can make, any changes we can make. We believe it's kind of a community situation, and there's a lot of things that can happen family oriented, and we want to make sure we're in our best interest of doing that. So we're going to be looking into that, and we'll report back any changes or recommendations. My last little bit of information, I want to defer to board member Barb Fletcher. We have 9/11 coming this week, and she'd like to make a few announcements on from the Post.
Thank you. The other, one of the other hats I wear, I'm the commander of American Legion Post 37 here in Quincy. And on behalf of the Post, I'd like to invite you to join us on Thursday morning, September 11th, as we commemorate the fallen so long ago. We will have, starting at 9 a.m. in front of City Hall, we will have a commemoration ceremony. It will consist of prayer, wreath presentation and laying, and rifle salute, and the playing of taps, so it won't take a whole lot of time. And then if you happen to have any time to spare, I can't talk today, at 10 o'clock is in recognition of a National Day of Service. There will be headstone cleaning out at the National Cemetery on East Main Street. So we will be scrubbing headstones out there for a while. And then for all first responders and volunteers, Post 37 invites you to come have lunch with us. We're offering a free lunch for first responders and volunteers from 11 o'clock till 1 or earlier if we run out of food. But please join us in front of City Hall at 9 a.m. on Thursday to commemorate the fallen of 9/11. Thanks.
So you've got City Hall 9 a.m. for the commemoration. You've got National Day of Service as a work hour project at the National Museum. And then where was the lunch?
National Cemetery.
Oh, it's there
and,
too.
Yeah, and then the lunch, it's on East Main Street if you've not been out there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then lunch for first responders and volunteers is at Post 37 on Hampshire.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Barb. Yeah, that's all we had, Mr. Chairman. Our next meeting is October 14th, 5:30 in the ROE conference room. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. I personally was unable to attend the executive committee meeting, and I kind of gave you guys late notice. I thought the email that I sent at 3 o'clock went out, and you got it at 7:30, so I apologize for that. I had a family matter I had to attend to. So was there anything that anyone of the four chairmen wanted to talk about that happened at the executive committee meeting? I don't think you had any action that took place.
We punted what we had to the finance committee, so.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. We'll move on, and then the finance committee report next, Mr. Cooley.
Mr. Chairman, the finance committee met yesterday, September 8th, here in the county boardroom. We reviewed bills, all appeared to be in order. We discussed several items last night. First order of business is some resolutions. I asked that the county clerk read 3A, B, C, D, and E, please.
Tax sale resolution number 0925001 for PEN 2332716-001 located in the Quincy Township. Tax sale resolution number 0925002 for PEN 20-3223022 located in Melrose Township. Tax sale resolution number 0925003 for PEN 23700410000 located in the Quincy Township. Tax sale resolution number 0925004 for PEN 20-025 located in the Melrose Township. Tax sale resolution number 0925006 for PEN 235-0986-000-00.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Cooley.
Second.
Second by Mr. Finley. Roll call vote.
Mark Sorensen.
Yes.
Bart Fletcher.
Yes.
Ray Hincamper, Dave Bellis,
Yes.
Marvin Kirkhoff,
Yes.
Mark Dietrich, Jeremy Farlow,
Yes.
Steve McQueen,
Yes.
Travis Cooley,
Yes.
Robert Rich,
Yes.
Tim Finley,
Yes.
John McCoy,
Yes.
Brad Poulter,
Yes.
David McCleary, John Gunther,
Yes.
Brent Fisher,
Yes.
Joe Zinger,
Yes.
Russ Hincamper, Timothy Seymour,
Yes.
Keith Calloway,
Yes.
Brett Austin.
Yes. 17 in favor, 4 absent. We stay here long enough, we're not going to have anybody left. So that those resolutions are carried. Next item, Mr. Cooley.
I asked the county clerk to read 3F, please.
Resolution number 2025-08-001-025, resolution to adopt the recommendations of the Adams County Grow 2 Committee recommendations.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Cooley, second by Mr. Poulter.
So we had some pretty extensive discussion regarding the available balances, administrative fees, and some pending IRS correspondence on ARPA funds that we're still going to need to be talked about. Maybe a phone call made to the IRS on that. But the Finance Committee voted to accept the recommendations given to us from the GREDF, from GREDF, to approve the distribution of an additional $380,000 in round 2 of the GROW program. This allocation will help bring an additional 26 new units to the Adams County housing market.
The total with this and the first round was how much of the total? Because this will be it. So
Correct. Total together, I believe it's 940,000, and I don't know how many units.
okay, so 380 from this round,
Right.
and 560 from the last round.
Something of that. Yeah.
940 total. Okay, so big picture questions. It's under the total that the project was allotted for,
It is.
and all the things were in the vetted category, and we went through, and this will be the end of the approvals for this, right?
Correct. That is
Okay.
correct. And then we also still have approximately $6,000 that we will have to spend to have somebody go out there and approve those completion.
Oh, the home inspections.
Yes, the home inspections.
And I think you worked out with a couple different vendors that we're sending out, and those end up being a $300 or $400 a piece or something, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other questions. Does anyone else have any other questions? Roll call vote.
Mark Sorensen,
Yes.
Bart Fletcher,
Yes.
Ray Hincamper, Dave Bellis,
Yes.
Marvin Kirkhoff,
Yes.
Mark Dietrich, Jeremy Farlow,
Yes.
Steve McQueen,
Yes.
Travis Cooley,
Yes.
Robert Rich,
Yes.
Tim Finley,
Yes.
John McCoy,
Yes.
Brad Poulter,
Yes.
David McCleary, John Gunther,
Yes.
Brent Fisher,
Yes.
Joe Zinger,
Yes.
Russ Hincamper, Timothy Seymour,
Yes.
Keith Calloway,
Yes.
Brett Austin.
Yes. 17 in favor, 4 absent. That resolution is approved. Next item, Mr. Cooley.
So thank you for that, because that was a lot of money to be distributed, and that was a big project.
Yeah, I guess we should be a little more ceremonial about that.
Yeah,
That's
that
the last approval
Yeah.
of $12.7 million of ARPA funds over the course of 5 years. And I think that this county, compared to how a lot of people used or didn't use the money, this county did a tremendous job touching almost every village and city and infrastructure project that we could. So whoever's been on the board for those years, coming and going, everyone did a really good job, and I appreciate you taking the mantle of that, Mr. Cooley, and finishing it off.
Absolutely. I will ask the county clerk to read 4A, please.
Transfer a fund appropriation from Paul Havermill, VAC Superintendent, in the amount of $8,000 from account number 631-631-5105, Salary Assistant Superintendent, VAC, for revised salary of $44,000 and $8,000 to account number 631-631-5570, Rent and Leases, for revised budget amount of $21,200 and $1,000 from account number 631-631-5579, Utilities, Internet, for revised budget amount of $500. And $1,000 to account number 631-631-5650, Office Supplies, for revised budget amount of $7,000. And $2,000 from account number 631-631-5105, Salary Assistant Superintendent of AC, for revised budget amount of $42,000. And $2,000 to account number 631-631-5975, VAC Program, for revised budget amount of $2,000.
Thank you for reading that.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Cooley.
Second.
Second by Mr. Finley. That is a roll call vote.
Mark Sorensen.
Yes.
Barb Fletcher.
Yes.
Raheem Camper. Dave Bellis. Marvin Kirkhoff.
Yes.
Mark Dietrich. Jeremy Farlow.
Yes.
Steve McQueen.
Yes.
Travis Cooley.
Yes.
Robert Rich.
Yes.
Tim Finley.
Yes.
John McCoy.
Yes.
Brad Poulter.
Yes.
David McCleary. John Gunther.
Yes.
Brent Fisher.
Yes.
Joe Zinger.
Yes.
Russ Camper. Timothy Seymour.
Yes.
Keith Calloway.
Yes.
Fred Austin.
Yes. 17 in favor, 4 absent. That transfer is approved.
So just so you know what you approved, that was budget neutral. There was no actual additional funds being appropriated there. I will ask the county clerk to read 4B, please.
Additional fund appropriation from Ryan A. Camp County Clerk and Recorder in the amount of $2,182,250 from revenue account number 803-001-5995. Transfer from County General HVAC bond for revised budget amount of $2,182,215.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second by Mr. Poulter. Roll call vote.
Mark Sorensen.
Yes.
Bart Fletcher.
Yes.
Raheem Camper. Dave Bellis.
Yes.
Marvin Kirkhoff.
Yes.
Mark Dietrich. Jeremy Farlow.
Yes.
Steve McQueen.
Yes.
Travis Cooley.
Yes.
Robert Rich.
Yes.
Tim Finley.
Yes.
John McCoy.
Yes.
Brad Poulter.
Yes.
David McCleary. John Gunther.
Yes.
Brent Fisher.
Yes.
Joe Zinger.
Yes.
Russ Camper. Timothy Seymour.
Yes.
Keith Calloway.
Yes.
Fred Austin.
Yes. 17 in favor, 4 absent. That fund appropriation is approved.
So that was just creating a fund. We're moving funds from miscellaneous revenue line item to that direct fund for the bond accounts, just so you are aware. Regarding 5 budget insurance, so September 15th is the deadline for the department heads to have their initial budget into the ClearGov software. There was an email that was sent out today to department heads and to the finance committee that has the budget assignments for each of the department heads. It has all of our contact information, so reach out anything you need. Once we have the initial budget from the department heads, I'm going to ask each member of the finance committee to reach out to their specified department head. That way they have been given, or they can talk about their budget and any requests that they need. Even if everything looks good from our point of view, we want to make sure that we're communicating with you. That way, if any questions need to be had, we're doing so. We also want to always make sure that we're communicating and having that open line of communication. Obviously, we're not always going to see eye to eye with what's being requested, but we also want to seek to understand each other with this whole budget. To the department heads, you can always give me, Brett, or Tim a call. Just shoot us an email or a phone call at any point in time for any additional questions. You should be hearing from your finance committee point of contact sometime after your initial budget is in September 15th, so you should be hearing from whoever you're assigned by the first part of October. Regarding insurance updates, through the end of July, we are $474,000 below budget for our health insurance, so we're doing pretty good and running smoothly so far this year. And then regarding discussion and possible action, administrative office, Anthony Foster. So last night we spoke to Anthony Foster and Lamario Rogers from the Adams County Juvenile Detention Center. about adding 6 additional positions at the detention center, totaling salaries of $344,070.40. These salaries are considered a grant and aid position and will be 100% reimbursed to us by the AOIC. What wouldn't be reimbursed is what Adams County would be responsible for, is approximately $103,000 in fringe benefits. A couple months ago, Anthony had presented the option for this, and at that point in time, we together asked him how they could offset those expenses to the county. Last night he presented to us for that. So with their presentation, we found out that new standards are being mandated that all juvenile detention facilities be PREA compliant by 2027. One of the new positions would be a PREA coordinator. Another position would be a PREA training coordinator for us to stay in compliance and also to train other detention officers and any other new hires to be PREA compliant as well. There are also 4 new staff members, detention officers, to be hired with this, which will help out with staffing needs. Their proposal to offset the added expense of the fringe benefits is to raise our county daily per diem rates from $160 per day to $200 per day. They presented to us numbers saying that we're on the low end of the daily spectrum rates. We'll still be on the low end if we raise it to $200 per day. The average is around 220, and we could get 250, so we're putting that up to them. By doing so, and by adding the 4 additional detention officers, it would allow them to comfortably house 2 additional residents each day, which they are currently housing 13 residents, so it would allow them to house 15 residents easily with a maximum amount of residents of 30. It would bring in an additional $400,000 in revenue for fiscal year 2026, making an offsetting budget of $300,000 in revenue after the fringe benefits are paid. With that knowledge, the Finance Committee approved and advised Anthony Foster and Lamario Rogers to include those positions and the budgets in their 2025 budget request. Anything else from the Finance Committee? If not, our next finance meeting will be Monday, October 13th, 2025 at 6 o'clock here in the county boardroom. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Cooley. Appreciate it. I don't see any other unfinished business. Well, that's probably a lie. There's a lot of unfinished business, but none to speak about right now. New business, no travel vouchers, monthly reports.
Monthly reports, Supervisor of Assessments, Board of Review, Juvenile Detention Center, the County Clerk and Recorder's Office, Public Defender, the Circuit Clerk, Information Technology and Probation Department, Monthly Check Register for August 2025, and Fund Summary Report for August 2025, including revenue and expenses.
Motion to receive, file, and forward to appropriate committee.
Motion by Mr. Zanger. Second by Mr. Seamer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is that a carryover on that?
Yeah, page 4.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. No resignations. That's always good. Appointments report, discussion, nothing there. Correspondence.
First one's a letter of Community Foundation regarding Adams County CARES program. Second one's MLCR 3A from the Central Stone Company for Mill Creek Quarry CS42. And we also have the application of Gem City Solar SUP from Novi Energy for a commercial solar facility.
Motion to receive, file, and forward to appropriate committee.
Motion by Mr. Zanger.
Second.
Second by Mr. Seamer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Just goes off the rails when Joe and Ryan aren't both here. Yeah. Appreciate you stepping in, Mr. Seamer. No other action for executive session, I believe.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I make a motion to suspend the September 9th, 2025 County Board meeting for the purpose of setting the levy until the stated December 9th, 2025 County Board meeting.
Motion by Mr. Cooley. Is there a second for this?
Second.
Second by Mr. Finley. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The September 9th, 2024, September 9th, 2025 county board meeting is suspended until December 9th, 2025 for the purpose of setting a levy, at which point we'll teleport back in time to this date. So, all those in favor? Opposed? So ordered. I don't believe we have any other business, and we can adjourn the meeting. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Travis.